guys, it's your girl Alexi, and this is Red Carpet Fly Go-Getta Podcast, where we interview up-and-coming talent in the entertainment industry here in Hollywood. Today, I have a very special guest with me. I go way back with this girl, way back to my New York days, and thank you for coming, Miss Chanel Bosh.
Hey, what's up?
So, like I said, we go way back. So we're just going to jump right on in. Tell me, what was your motivation for moving out to Hollywood, and how has it been? Do you regret it?
My motivation for moving to Hollywood was that I always wanted to come to Hollywood, and it was kind of one of those now or never situations. Mm-hmm. I don't regret it. I think it's the best decision I've made. I think that it was the right timing for it, you know? I always used to think like, oh, I should have come out here when I was younger. But I came at the right time.
Now, what is the hardest thing about being out here in the entertainment industry? Something that that maybe surprised you?
I think the hardest thing is figuring out how to get the information. You know, there's a lot of gatekeepers, and I would say that's a big difference between LA and New York. In New York, it felt like it was easier to find the information, but in LA, especially since, it's Hollywood, so it's really based on the studio system. So it's more difficult to figure out where to go or what to do next or who to call, who to speak to. I think that definitely surprised me.
Now, you have done a lot of things. You've done a lot of movies. You've produced a lot of your movies. You've written. You've been in national commercials. What is and I know in New York you used to do a lot of theatrical stuff. You're theatrically trained. What is your favorite thing to do? Now that you've gotten a good roundabout experience in acting, what do you prefer to do? Do you like theater? Do you like TV?
I definitely like TV and film. Commercials are really fun, though. It's just commercials are very playful. It's very lighthearted. Of course, everyone's always happy in commercials, right? So that's like the most fun. If you just want to, if you have to spend a day doing something, like that's simple, easy, fun, good paycheck. But TV and film ultimately is the dream.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And it's a good thing you brought up paychecks because, we all got to eat. How is that with the paychecks? Now, I just got done covering another event, and I just found out that models get paid sometimes 30, 60, or 90 days out. When you work on a national commercial, was it similar to that?
Yeah, it's similar to that. Okay. You always have to wait. But the good thing is the paycheck is big. So
okay, so that's good.
So it lasts you for a while. You know what I mean? So.
Now, do you get paid residual incomes for if it plays several times, or how does that work? Or they don't go into that with you?
That all depends on what kind of project it is and what kind of contract you have. Mm-hmm. So it's different for different markets. And when I say markets, I mean like national versus something that's just going to be digital, that's just going to be on the internet.
Okay.
Or something that's going to be on like your Netflix or streaming services versus something that's going to be on ABC. Mm-hmm. So it's different for each thing. And even the residual, how much you get paid as well as the residual is different. Some things have terms on them as far as like a year. They can use this thing for up to a year. Some things is shorter or maybe longer. Maybe it has the option to renew it. Mm-hmm. So it really just depends. But that's why, people have agents and managers to kind of negotiate all that.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say, because even you telling me this now, I didn't know that it was like that I didn't even consider the streaming services. Mm-hmm. So do you have an agent?
Yes, I do. I have an agent. I have a commercial agent, and I also have a theatrical agent, which is for TV and film.
Okay.
And I also have a manager.
Now, okay, so 2 questions. Was it hard to find an agent, and why did you decide to have 2 different agents?
Yes and no about whether it's hard. I say yes and no because you really want to take your time finding agents. I've had different agents, some that worked out, some obviously didn't. But I think it's really a matter of finding the agent that's the best fit for you. And that's why I say yes and no, because sometimes you need to take that extra time to find the person that's best suited for you, as opposed to just saying, oh, I have an agent, but you're not a match. What was the second part of your question?
The second part was, why did you, I know I asked too many questions in one question. Why was it important to have a commercial agent and a theatrical a theatrical agent?
Because they work in completely different fields. So like my commercial agent, they have access to see the breakdowns for other stuff, but that's not their focus. That's not what they're looking at regularly. It's just, it gives you people who are more laser focused on one thing, you know what I mean? So they're working hard for you on that one thing, as opposed to like if you had someone who was working for you across the board, they might maybe you're on a roll with commercials, and so they're really focused there, and they're not really giving that same attention to your TV auditions, and they're missing opportunities that way. It's also, there's so many breakdowns that come in every day that you really want someone who can, like, the same way I can't possibly pay attention and focus on all those things myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's easier, I think, to break it down and separate it.
Now with the manager element, and why I'm getting into all of this is because for some people, this is all just like, this is such a haze for people, and it's very complicated for them to navigate these kind of avenues. Why did you decide to get a manager as well and have that a part of your team? And also, like, what does your manager do? Is it just someone you brainstorm with? And, talk about that a little bit. Yeah,
a manager has more... They're more able to give you that specialized attention.
Okay.
They, like you said, brainstorm. They can talk with you more about branding or about, maybe why your headshots aren't working. They also work as a liaison between you and the agents, which is why I wanted to get a manager. So instead of me having to worry about emailing 3 different people, or checking up, sometimes, there's things that's like a little uncomfortable to maybe go to your agent about, or your agents are super busy, so it's more difficult to get them on the phone. But with the manager, I can just send something to her. Like if I'm, if I have something coming up or I'm concerned about something, I can shoot her an email or I can call her, and then she can say the appropriate thing to my commercial agent or my theatrical agent. She can also, again, give you that more specific feedback about what you're doing, about your photos, or what classes you should be taking. She can give you a more hands-on developmental approach.
Now, where do you go to find a manager?
The internet.
Are there certain keywords that you have to find? I know I don't find. I did not have. And for those who don't know, Nicole, Chanel and I were both with the same agency back in New York. I felt like they didn't really do a whole lot. So I have a bad taste in my mouth from agents and stuff like that and managers. So I don't. But where would you even start with a keyword? Like, what would you look for? You just say managers in LA, managers in New York, How would you tell someone to go about navigating that?
Well, I think, first I want to say, like, I think something that's super important is, you're only going to get as much out of your management and your agent as you put in, right? So you have to think of it like that too, because if you're not doing anything, then they can't do anything. If you're not, in classes or making your own videos or putting stuff on Instagram or whatever, they have nothing to promote.
That's a good point. Yeah, because some people are just like sitting there.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that that you're doing work as well. It's more like, it's like a partnership, and they're there to support you. So that's the other thing, it's a partnership, but they are working for you. You pay them, what I mean? So you have to keep that in mind. And I know it's easy to think like, oh, they have all the power, like I need them to do XYZ, but really you guys are working together. Mm-hmm. They don't get paid until you get paid.
Right.
The other thing is, when you're looking for one, you want to really look for someone who fits you, who fits your personality, who works the same way you do. So for me, I know that I want someone who can communicate, someone who is going to be a little bit more aggressive or passionate if they really think something's a fit. So I looked for that specifically. So I actually ended up, even though I'm in LA, my reps are from New York. So they're in LA as well, but they are New York native. So they have that sort of New York energy about them. You know, they're straightforward. They're going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. And that was important to me. I needed someone who was going to really lay it out on the table.
Right.
The other thing, as far as finding them, you know, once I decide what qualities am I looking for, you can just go on to IMDb.
Okay.
If you're really looking for that, you should get an IMDb Pro account, because that way you can see all the details about people. You can see contact information, you can see who they represent, you can see all of that, and you kind of just reverse engineer it, you know. So you think, okay, actress A, I want to have that sort of career, so let me go look and see who she's with. And of course, some of them are going to be with, you know, top agencies.
Exactly.
Do not go for the top. Don't go for the top agencies, even if it sounds good, if you are not at that level. But you find out who's comparable to them, you know, who would be the step before that. And then just reach out, pitch yourself. But remember, like, you have to tell them how they can sell you, how they can promote you.
Right. So
a pitch is not just, hey, I'm an actor and I'm looking for an agent. Like, they already know that part.
Right.
But what about you? What hole do you fill on their roster? What skills do you have? What shows do you see yourself on? You have to, like, literally tell them that, so that they see it right away, you know.
See, and we can go on this forever, and I think that's, you're giving really good information, because you're right. You know, this is Hollywood. There's a million people that look just like you. Mm-hmm. You know, so you need to kind of help them help you out. And I think that's really good, because people don't know that. And some people don't even know about IMDb. You know, I always mix it up. But some people don't even know about that. But that is very, very helpful. And that was one thing that I learned when I came out to Hollywood, too, how that can be a useful tool to you. Mm-hmm. But switching gears a little bit, I want to get a little personal. Some things that I think are so unique about you is that you are the eternal optimist. You are always seeing the bright side of things, seeing the good in people, which is what makes me gravitate towards you. And your Instagram, for anyone, I strongly suggest people follow your Instagram, because you're always very positive. How do you stay so positive?
Man, with prayer and sage. That's how I stay positive. No, you know, it's a work. It's a constant work. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a choice. Being positive and being happy, honestly, is a choice. You can't rely on anyone or anything to make you happy. Right? I mean, it comes from you. I mean, and the truth is, everyone says that, right? It's like, oh, can't rely on anyone to make you happy. Great. But if you really think about it, and we all know someone who should be super happy based on you think, oh, well, they have a nice car. Oh, they have a great partner. They have a nice job. They're making money. They live in the best apartment. But they're not happy. And that's because those things don't make you happy. It's you. It's a choice every single day. So for me, it's constant work. I mean, of course, I have my days when I'm not happy. I have my moments, my minutes throughout the day. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, this is terrible. LA traffic makes me not happy all the time, you know? But I have to choose to see the good thing in it, or to just focus on something more positive than that. Because if you don't, I mean, it's really hard to keep going, especially in entertainment, where there's a lot of rejection. It's like, you know, your job is almost like auditioning and interviewing, and you're constantly trying to get a job. So if I were to pay attention to all of the negative, I wouldn't be here.
And that's what I was saying, because, you know, you're right. Because when you're in entertainment, you do face a lot of rejection. But not only that, you also have your internal doubts and that negative tape playing because you know things that maybe other people don't know. So I just think it's always good. It's always refreshing when I come and see you in the Insta feeds and you're saying something positive, because while we are in the same industry, we're kind of going about it differently. And it's just refreshing to see someone who's like, you know what? Today, I'm not having that great of a day, but I'm thankful and I'm happy for the other stuff that I have. And tomorrow's another opportunity to go at it again. Because, hey, people need to hear that. I need to hear that because I be on 10. And so it's good to be like, you know, if she can do it, I can do it. So let's reevaluate the situation. Right. Also, another thing that a lot of people don't know about you is that your father passed away. And I know that was really difficult for you. I know you were really close to him. But you have come through so strong, so positive, and also still being on track. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about that because people are right now sometimes going through a storm and they can't see the sunshine because of the rain. And I just think that your situation, you were able to not only get through the storm, but see the sunshine and see the rainbow. So talk about how you kind of navigated that and got through that.
Yeah. Well, it's a process, you know. I wouldn't even say that I'm out of the storm. It's a thing, you know, grief is something that takes a long time. And that's something that I'm learning too as I go through this. Like it's something that you don't know how you're going to respond until you're in it. But what's important, what I found to be important, is to give yourself grace. And to just give yourself grace, be patient with yourself. And also just think about what would that person want you to be doing. You know, when we lose a loved one, the truth is, like, they loved you and they rooted for you and they supported you while they were here. They probably want you to keep going. They wouldn't want you to sit and just curl up in a ball, because then what's the point? Like, right. You're still alive. That's one thing I have to remind myself all the time. Like, you're still alive. I'm still alive for a reason. I was living before and I'm continuing to live after. So what use of it is it to me to just not live, to just be here, to just exist without really living? So it's, you know, it is a process. It comes in waves. They always say that grief comes in waves, right? And of course, I'm like, oh, sure, it comes in waves. I'm a happy person. It's fine. But it does come in waves, and that's okay. I think that's really important to remember, like, that is okay. And I say that because it's easy to look at people and think, oh, they're so positive, or this person moved on so quickly, or, you know, they're dealing with it so wonderfully. But the truth is, everyone has all these emotions. Everyone has gone through something in their life, different types of setbacks, different types of disappointments, loss, and we all have these emotions and these feelings, and it's okay. And it's, you know, it's important not to beat yourself up about it.
And I think it's really good too, because sometimes people feel like it's not okay to cry. You want to be strong. And I think, you know, you sharing that message of that, no, go ahead and take that time to cry. That helps somebody out there, because, you know, they're trying to be so strong and just get through it that they don't recognize that that's a part of the grieving process too. What would be your one tip for someone who is still trying to go forth in their career, but is in a bad place right now? You know, that needs that little ray of sunshine. What helped you get through that? If you could list one thing. I know there's probably multiple things.
I think it's what I said earlier about finding the positive and focusing on that. You know, negative thoughts are going to come up, and you can observe them and then let them go and then focus on the positive. Because the same way negative thoughts come up and pop up, positive thoughts come up and pop up too. I think when people say like focus on the positive, it makes, especially when you're in a bad place, it almost sounds like you have to like look and find positivity when really everything sucks, right? But the truth is, the same way negative things pop up, positive things pop up. Like, you're not going to be crying and scowling all the time. Something's still going to make you laugh, you know? So, like, I have dogs, and it doesn't matter if I'm upset. They're going to do something that's going to be adorable or is going to make me laugh or whatever. And that just pops up. So I could focus on that and stay in that moment and enjoy that moment instead of going back immediately to the sadness. Plus, it's really hard to, like, be mad and sad when something nice is happening. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just stubborn. And honestly, you look a little crazy.
And you have really cute dogs too.
My dogs are also really cute, so it helps. So, you know.
In talking about a little bit about your background, you have a very unique background that we both share. We're both military brats. How has that been in, I guess, enriching you as an actress and as a person, you know, coming from that military background and living outside the country?
I think it's helped me because I am more empathetic. Okay. I'm also more, I'm more understanding of different people's choices and lifestyles and cultures and religions and all of that sort of thing because I was exposed to it. I think it's super important to expose people to culture in every sense: music, food, art, religion, the way people dress. Like, all of that is important to see, especially when you're young, because it makes those things not be so weird or other. So I think that has helped me a lot, just in how I relate to people, but also how I relate to characters, you know? So when I get a script, a character might not be like me. They might not make choices that I would make, but I can find the humanity in it because I've been exposed to so many different people.
And with your background and everything, does that I had the question and then I lost it. But having that background or whatever, do you think that you could play any role, or has there been any role that you just haven't been able to relate to? Because, you know, there's certain things that come up, you know. How has it, give us an example of how your background, living everywhere, helped you in a specific role. Or you can just be general. I know. I think that's hard.
That's so hard. That's such a, oh boy, man. I mean, I haven't come up against anything that I didn't feel I could relate to or tap into somehow. Even if it's something that I never personally experienced. When we, what's the word I'm looking, like, distill everything down to the human condition, right? To emotion, basic emotions. So it doesn't matter if someone's homeless, if they are a thief, if they are whatever the character's role is, they have the same emotions that we all have, right? Like, they're angry, they're sad, they're in love, they're all those things. So I'm always able, I try to find that in the character, instead of worrying about the specifics of their circumstance, because you're right, like, that's easy to get kind of caught up and say, well, like, I've never experienced anything like this before, which is true. Like, maybe you haven't, but you've felt those emotions before.
And I think that's good, because I remember one film that you produced and you wrote, and it was kind of like an art kind of film or whatever. I usually don't watch those, and I was familiar with it, but like I said, I don't really watch it. But your performance in it was very good, because I was able to relate to the character, even though this, I guess, environment that was created or what was going on, I couldn't necessarily relate to that, but I could understand what the girl was going through. I definitely, the sadness or the happiness or the hopefulness came through, which is why I think you're just a great actress and why you're on my podcast. Because I just think that, you know, you really do a good job at tapping into that human condition. So I wanted to kind of go into moving a little bit along. You're also very unique in the fact that you wear your natural hair. You know, you wear very I don't like saying the word ethnocentric, or, you know, it's because to me it's just hair that grows out of your head. Have you had any issues with that when you go to auditions, or have you had someone say, can you just try it like this?
No, I haven't. I know that some people have had those issues. I haven't. I think because, I don't know, I just, you know, my hair is me. It's my hair. You know, it's like you said, like, it grows out of my head. It's not necessarily some radical choice. Right. I think luckily we've kind of moved out of it being a radical choice. Kind of. Right. I say that with caution, but, you know, it's more commonplace for people to have wear their natural curly hair. I know there still are some pressures. Me personally, I haven't come up against any of them. At least not to my knowledge. Shoot, who knows? Maybe there was something I didn't get because of my hair. I don't know. But it's my hair. It's the way that it is. I like it. I style it accordingly. You know what I mean? I think also, like, our hair is versatile.
It really is.
You know, so it's a matter of styling. Like, I'll give you, you know, sleek businesswoman with my natural hair, because it's possible, and also because, you know, there's businesswomen who have natural hair in the world. So it's not that crazy, you know. So to me, my goal is to show people that we exist in all facets of the world. So
right, because, you know, I have some people that, you know, like cousins and stuff, that want to come to Hollywood, but they feel like they have to look a certain way. They gotta, you know, have, like, you know, the real long hair, and, you know, just be like this exotic looking thing, which I think exotic is not a certain type. It's something that you bring to something, because I've seen exotic girls that have, you know, very kinky curly texture, and girls that have very sleek, you know, and a very straight texture. That's not what is exotic about them. What's exotic about them is how they put it all together and make it look. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I think that, yeah, you know, the people think that stops you from doing that, and you're here to tell them that it doesn't.
Yeah, and I think too, it goes back to what I was saying about telling your people how to market you, right? So I don't have headshots with straight hair. I used to do that. I used to have straight hair and curly hair headshots just in case. But then I got to a point where I was like, if they want me to straighten my hair, hopefully they know that that's a possible thing. You know, I shouldn't have to spell it out. And if I do, then do I really want to work on that project? It's really just that simple of, like, what do you want? Now, there are certain types of projects that maybe I would feel, I need a different type of look, but I'm not aiming for those. You know, I think it's a get in where you fit in thing. And once you're in, then you can spread you can break down more and more barriers. But it's about what you're putting out there. No one is expecting me to come into an audition with straight hair. So if they called me, they know what they're getting.
That's right. That's what I like. Really quickly, because I'm going to try to wrap this up. What are some current projects that you're working on, or that you just wrapped? I'm going to ask you, like, kind of bullet style. So, are you working on any projects, or did you wrap any projects? And also, what is your favorite movie right now? What is Chanel Bosh into right now?
Okay, so I'm currently helping develop a web series. My favorite movie, I haven't even seen it yet, but because it hasn't come out yet, but it's at the top of my list. Ma.
Mine too. I was just like, I've got to see that.
I'm so excited to see that. So I'm sure it's going to be my top movie once it comes out.
Okay, and just let the people know where they can find you if they want to be inspired by Miss Chanel Bosh.
You can find me on all social media platforms at Chanel Bosh.
Okay. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Chanel and I can talk all day long. Make sure you follow her on her social media platforms. And if you want to be on the show, if you're an actress, model, singer, dancer, stunt person, comedian, and you want to be on the podcast, let a girl know. Hit me up on my DMs at Red Carpet Fly. And until next time, always stay fly.